Hey guys, welcome to Monster Island Babble. It's me, MIB. And first things first, I resent this already. I resent this upload. Because it's gonna wind up getting, more attention than videos I've worked really hard on that I'm really proud of. And that's not your guys' fault. It's nothing to do with the viewers. It's just how the YTube is set up. But you know what? That sex pillow video underperformed, so maybe this will make up for it. I absolutely hate talking about fandom toxicity because I disagree with both terms in the statement. I don't think either are accurate or even mean what the person using it thinks it means. So let's just break it down. Fandom. What the hell is fandom? It's not a tangible or measurable thing. It's just this abstract concept. Like something like Wikipedia will say, "Oh, it's a community of people that connect over, one specific thing that they share an interest in." But just appreciate how broad that is, I think people forget how many subsections you could break Godzilla down into. Beyond the movies, beyond the toys, video games, comic books, over 65 years of context, history, and media at this point. See, here's the thing. Because the borders are so goddamn vague, everybody's perception of what a fandom looks like is going to be limited to what that person is exposed to on a daily basis. If Twitter is your social media of choice and you're a Godzilla fan on Twitter, then it's very likely that what you see on Twitter is going to play a large part into your perception of who this fandom is and where its borders are. But the problem with that is you forget how many different pockets and groups and subgroups there are of Godzilla fans, and you're very likely not getting exposure to more than a couple of them. Now, as a content creator, I'm trying to hop around a lot of places, and I'm on sites I probably normally wouldn't be on, like Facebook and Tumblr. But I'm also on Instagram, Twitter. I was on TikTok for a week. And I'll tell you firsthand what you already know deep down. It's all very different people and different experiences. Hell, you look at Facebook alone, and one Facebook group, the Godzilla collecting group, let's say, is a completely different vibe than the Godzilla group, another Facebook group. Godzilla has accumulated over 65 years of fans. So when somebody refers to a Godzilla fandom, to me, that's accounting for hundreds of thousands of people, and I hope more. Global. Because I have to imagine that the concept of a fandom stretches outside of the English language that I speak, and would account for Godzilla fans in Japan, in Germany, in Malaysia. I've seen them. They exist. Mexico. What's up? Mis hermanos en Puerto Rico. I see all you guys. You're there. So all this to say the Godzilla fandom is big, and none of us can actually measure it because fandom is an abstract concept. All right, toxicity. That's a lot easier to define. But I have to warn you, the term toxicity has weight. It is not something you throw around. When something is toxic for you, that means you are in a situation where that thing is going to become a detriment to your mental or physical health, be it rapidly or over a long term. Great example is a toxic relationship. Any ongoing relationship where one person is continually being bullied to a point where they're changing their own perception of themselves is toxic. That's toxicity. Being a dick to a stranger is not toxicity. Being a dick to a stranger is the internet, unfortunately. But disagreeing with something somebody says and then being confrontational about it and passionate about it is a constructive no, but it's not toxic either. Sometimes I see gatekeeping. I don't even think gatekeeping is toxic. I just think it's shitty. But there might be people where gatekeeping is toxic to them specifically. So just, that word has weight. Let's not throw it around. Let's understand that toxic is extremely bad. So is the Godzilla fandom toxic? Do you see how ridiculous that question is now? Are we saying that the majority of the hundreds of thousands, hopefully more, of Godzilla fans around the world are serial gaslighting, sexual assaulting, racist, etc., etc.? Is that what we're implying when we say that this is a toxic fandom? That is a ridiculous notion. Are there toxic people in the Godzilla fandom? Yes, because guess what? There are toxic people in the world. It's not exclusive to fandoms. It's an unfortunate reality. There are shitty people among us. Their shittiness very likely does not have to do with your shared love of Godzilla with them. Their shittiness has to do with them being a shitty person. They don't respect boundaries. They have a sense of entitlement that they should not have. That is on them. If you are unable to detach a person's shitty behavior from their participation in a Godzilla community, then you are making the same argument that school mass shootings are driven by video game violence. It is a complete fallacy of an argument. In my opinion, it's an argument that bears very little to no consideration. But I'm making this podcast because recently on Twitter, there's been a lot of discussion and policing in the G-Fan community, and a lot of the term toxic, as if this fandom is toxic. And the majority of these posts that I'm catching, unfortunately, are making comically broad generalizations about a mass of people. And it's coming to a point where they're ironically becoming the issue. I mean, and again, I'm not throwing the word toxic around, so let's just say dickish and unwelcoming. I've seen more dickish and unwelcoming behavior from people who are whining about the fandom being toxic than anyone else in the fandom at the moment. And then other people jump in, and then there's this, this fandom sucks, as if like that's the cool kid table. And and then it's not flash in the pan. It goes on, and every week, every day, it's dogpiling a topic or a person because they didn't love Godzilla right. You know, oh, this college kid, you know, vlogged too much. Oh, shit, you know, what a fucking asshole. It's clickbait. Fuck you, who cares? It's all clickbait. I don't know if you know this, but YTube sucks. And if you're relying on it for money, you gotta play some of its game to see anything. And guess what? In the year 2021, I'm gonna be a little more forgiving about what people need to do to get some cash in their pocket. So if you feel like you got a dogpile a college kid because he had a shitty take a moment and think, is this actually a constructive solution to the issue I'm trying to face? Recently, filmmaker Kevin Smith dropped a take on Twitter about how he would love to see all the Godzilla movies, but just the fights edited together. Who the fuck wouldn't want to get high and watch that with Kevin Smith? That's a fucking awesome idea. Then his tweet took a weird turn about, you know, he's not trying to disrespect the actors, but there's actors in other movies. And that's just, you know, that's a weird statement. It probably didn't need to be said. I certainly don't agree with that sentiment at all. Am I going to fall apart over it and publicly call out Kevin Smith? No. You know, he can think whatever the fuck he wants. I don't care. Are people worried that his platform is so big that he's going to convince other people that the human parts of Godzilla movies suck? You know what? If I had to choose between getting a new G-Fan that only liked the monster fights or getting no new G-Fan, I'll take the first one. And look, debate is fine. Be a freaking adult about it. Hey, Kevin Smith, have you ever checked out Ultra Fights? Actually, You might really like it, and there's actually a really fascinating story behind how it saved the Ultraman franchise. Kevin Smith, I would disagree. You should check out Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster, in which both the humans and the monsters had some growth. If your response is, oh, you know what, fuck Kevin Smith and everything he's done in the last 30 years. I mean, do you think that's a little extreme? Do you think that maybe you're the one bringing some bad vibes into the community? Look, I'm not perfect. I've done shitty things. I would hope that in all those cases, everybody, including myself, can separate me as a person doing a shitty thing from the fandom as a whole. Hundreds of thousands, hopefully more Godzilla fans around the world. Then there's Deadzilla. And this one sucks. If you don't know, Deadzilla was a Godzilla YouTuber in the earlier days. Right, you know, he was still active when I started up. And he was a big name. And he was gaining followers and he was gaining clout. And he was essentially the first major supporter my channel had. He legitimized me. That's a good way to put it. That is something I've appreciated from him ever since. I've hung out with him at 2G fests. You know, always thanked him for the early support. And shit, I'm sorry I'm getting sloppier here, but this subject sucks. So, you know, like everybody, we bonded. He's guest voiced on my channel a couple times. And I've guest voiced for him too. And the connection I felt with him was kind of based on that we both had that it was clear that he might have had some version of depressive or anxious tendencies like I have. So when you find somebody that understands that, it's always nice. So if you don't know, it turns out that over in his home state, Deadzilla, where he acted as a teacher, was accused online of grooming his students and making inappropriate comments and gestures, etc., to them, both as their children in his class and after they've graduated. There's proof. There's all sorts of screenshots from the first lady who posted the comment. And then there's many posts after that from former students corroborating her experience with some just shitty things you don't want to hear. Doesn't seem to be anything of the assault level. Seems to just be along the lines of grooming and disrespect of boundaries and inappropriate comments, which are awful. Just trying to paint you a picture of where on the shit-awful scale it is, I guess, relative to other things. After this had gotten out in his community, apparently Deadzilla shut down a lot of his social media and everything, but eventually the news did get into the Godzilla community, where a whistleblower posted a link on Twitter with an explanation, and then how to find all the stuff he or she found. And that took me a fucking full 24 hours to process. That just sucked. Nobody wants to hear that. I've talked to him since. I'm not satisfied with his explanations, I'll put it like that. I've cut this out because that is toxicity. That is a person with toxic behavior. And I hope so bad that, all the girls he made feel awkward or uncomfortable, that it was something that's not gonna, create some kind of long-lasting effect, be it PTSD or anything. I hope that mentally they are all okay. First and foremost. Let me tell you what was not on my head until Twitter shoved it in my face. This is proof that the Godzilla fandom is toxic. Is it? Is over 50% of all of the fandom around the world, hundreds of thousands, and hopefully more people, are they that level of toxic? Because when you say it is a toxic fan base, that is your claim to me. You're claiming that over the majority of people are that level of bad. That's how absurd this all is. The Godzilla fandom isn't toxic. It's a goddamn Christopher Guest movie. With all these characters coming from all their different realities, just spouting things. And I'm watching it like a TV show unfold, and I'm just like, what? So just calm the fuck down. Let people make the content they want to make. Let people have the takes they want to have. Let people enjoy Godzilla the way they want to enjoy Godzilla, to the level they want to enjoy Godzilla. And let them do it in peace, without being told that they're in a group where the majority of people are shitty. Who wants to hear that? How are you bringing new members into the community with that kind of... if that vibe is your constant output? And if you're if you hear all this and you're still convinced, oh, this is a toxic fan base, then please come back to me with an example of what is a non-toxic fan base. I mean, it sure ain't Star Wars, because those fans send death threats to poor actors who are just doing their jobs. And it sure as fuck isn't Harry Potter right now, I'll tell you that. At least the goddamn creator of Godzilla hasn't dropped such fucking awful visceral on the fucking Twitter. I don't even want to go into it. So show me where this fan base is, where everybody's living in perfect harmony, sipping their tea, and dropping nonstop eloquent takes and constructive criticism. Whether they're 6 years old or 99 years old. The fan base is what you make of the fan base. And with all this new kaiju shit coming out in 2021 and over 65 years of Godzilla history, I personally find it a weird choice that you'd want to talk about each other. But I only just ask for a little self-reflection about when I do this, what am I adding to the community? But look, I'm not going to police you guys. I don't believe in that shit. I believe in you express your creativity the way you're going to express your creativity. I also believe in the right to critique that creativity. But I'm not going to police your content. I'm never going to say, this guy's got to fucking stop uploading this shit, even if I don't agree with it. As long as it's not harming that person or others. Or if it's, fucking content theft. And I'm sure there's 3 other exceptions. Just don't be pedantic. You understand my point. I guess the last thing that I want to say is for most of the comments I've made in this podcast, it's not about one specific person. It's a group here and then maybe a different group there, but this was never meant to be a takedown of any one specific person. And I don't dislike anybody. I want everybody to be happy and enjoy being in this community and letting and helping me make it grow so we get more things. That's the number one priority for me. But I'm not trying to put ill will out there. I just felt like it got to a point when I had to say something. The only person coming out of this video a dick is Godzilla. Dick.